Never gave them the right pickup.
With disabilities and others that may need special access to the train door.
As children of a God so good and true, to understand His moving hand.
Approaching outbound, one car in, followed by one car K in 2 with one car L in 1.
So this is the beginning, this is the beginning. Thank you for listening to this beginning. This is the beginning, this is the beginning. Soon will be more, but this intro's the beginning. So please sit back, relax as I extract. 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 How do I start this? How do I begin? I wanna spark internal bliss and let it sink in. Off this I shouldn't trip, so I'll just begin to open my lips and continue to spit and be free within. What can I say to you to introduce, or rather help you understand why I demand not to lose your attention? Will this provide a suspension of time, or just the description of the baggage I use as a direction for rhyme? It's up to you to decide, cause in you I now confide. It's my life in disguise. What you're about to hear, along with a few of my peers, is just a slew of my deepest fears, repressed tears, and thoughts that I hold dear to my heart. I only ask that you do your part and take advantage of what you're now given and listen. You have my permission to join my progression and take this exploration of self. You have my permission to join my progression and take this exploration of self. So please sit back, relax as I extract. Please sit back, relax as I extract. Please sit back, relax as I extract. Please sit back, relax as I extract.
Civic Center Station.
Thought keeps the soul alive, and friction keeps the soul awake. Hate is one of the harshest words in the English language. I hate it when I say it. Speak. I come in peace to cease prevention of verbal release, but I tend to edit myself too much. Direction. I crack myself up sometimes. I get so passionate, loneliness sets in, brings out passion, but where to direct it? So I drown myself in the sensation of artificial rain and solitude. I want to share myself with another. I'm tired of being selfish. Her. I need to cease fixation, but need creation of unity. Feel lonely discomfort. Can't seem to find her. Need to stop looking. Can't seem to find her. Have faith in chance meeting. She is all around me. She speaks only to those who truly listen. Pure communication exists only with the utmost respect and understanding. So I accept her invitation to the manifestation of all nations. I love her. I seduce her. I give her nothing short of the respect she deserves. I caress her lips with the tip of my consciousness. I experience a communication that verbalization tends to limit. Time is non-existent. The bond is real. She is him, he is she, God is we. So I be 8.bliss, 8 as a symbol of infinity, and bliss representing my soul's energy. And if it's true, then ignorance is bliss, then consider me infinitely ignorant. Cause I realize that just as the canine mind cannot comprehend the game of chess, the human mind cannot comprehend death's infinite qualities. We are infinitely ignorant. accept your limitations. Surrender to life. What's the meaning of life? Think shallow, the answer's within the question. What's the meaning of life? Just open your heart and believe in the Most High's divine infection. Words spoken, freestyle, mind open. Words spoken, freestyle, mind open. Words spoken, freestyle, mind open. Words spoken, freestyle, mind open.
Mind open, like the ocean, consuming, making sure that you're moving. Cause everything is about movement. The way that your mind widens, the way that your life excitens, the way that everything enlightens, the way that all this shit moves around in circles. It's like it has a purpose, it needs to serve it. Don't get nervous, it's just the way it works, yeah.
Yo, I understand what you mean, kid, because I was thinking about what happens when I take a breath. And you see, when I give one is given to me. We are in this constant cycle with all that be. All of life is our brother, so how can we even think not to be kind to every other person that we meet? Because they're even closer than the trees, although the trees support us to have what we need.
Yeah, see, everything's about balance. So how the hell could you even think about malice? Because every word you say comes back to you like threefold, fourfold, sometimes even tenfold. It's like a big avalanche of bad karma, and you really don't want to deal with that shit. It's like gonna harm you real bad. You don't want to have to deal with that, so just sit back and relax, please.
So everything you do, think about how you treat them and how they're going to treat you. So why don't you do what you think you need to? I'm talking about the love that you got inside of you. Why don't you express that? Open your eyes and look into the mental, and then you can see exactly where they're at and the truth. It will be brought up to a particular moment in time, because I'm telling you that's how I feel during this rhyme. So, the other day, I was walking Market Street's red brick clay on my way to participate in my chosen role in society's 9-to-5 play, and I was in my head rehearsing my part, worsening the blow to my freedom's heart, when I was startled by a sitting cross-legged man with his hands near his loins demanding coins for his aluminum can, and by the smell, it was safe to assume that he began his day by eating out of a garbage can. I know that wasn't the role he planned, but maybe his societal audition didn't go well. That can happen. It's like a trampoline. You try out for a part, you're kicked out before you can even start to communicate your lines. Interrupted every time. You're too dirty, you're not worthy. You can't serve me until your physical purity is palatable for a typical tourist to see. You got that? You best flee. This is the type of shit I constantly see in the land of the urban city. So now that I know that I'm lucky, just for being able to duck the judgments by having a cement tub to shower in, cause with elbow power I can scrub the dirt in deep, so those without depth perception can't see who I truly be. They'll be in such awe of my gleamingly clean physicality that they'll cease to question how stable I am internally. And like most, I'll team up with a financial host, one to leech off, one to reach top, substantial growth. What? 40 hours, I still need more dollars, but I holler out with boredom. I reside most of my days in the place of the anti-play. Work, feeling jerked daily. You feeling me? I can't stand this shit naturally. I'm blowing out of control cause intangible gold is far too desirable, so I'm forced to get wired full of coffee in order to train myself sloppily to get up when I didn't plan to be. Next, still walking, another dude steps up, not so pepped up, and he asks me for money, but I tell him I can't afford to give him any. He says that's okay, so we begin to speak about other days, his promising past, future, and present being relevant. He then asked me to look into his eyes and tell him if I thought they looked sickly, which was beyond tricky, for the longer I looked, the more that I saw. His eyes bloodshot, jaundice yellow, no doubt he's a sickly fellow. So he asked me again, but what do I say? Play not, this is serious. But I didn't have to speak, cause after a few moments passed, his eyes began to leak with understanding. And I said to him, it could look worse. Then he told me that all he wants to do is lay down somewhere and be completely sedated. So I felt obligated to express the truth of what he had just stated. At that point, I only had a third-person view about a person I never really knew. Only the words written that I'm now spitting I once read in a homeless publication. A couple of months back, there was this homeless dude who got seriously jacked. He was asleep on a public bench and smacked. His body was hit with gasoline and then a match, lit into a fiery beam, murdered, undeserved, just cause he had no one to serve. And the kids who did it, they didn't even get it, never prosecuted, even though a man's life they looted. The man didn't have family, so he was considered a problem to society, now solved. But this man barely standing in front of me, his situation had still not yet been resolved. And then he told me that he wished he was dead. So at that moment, I began to scan his body, starting with his head. Face dirty, missing teeth, eyes discolored, skin covered with scabs, fingernails cracked, malnourished, along with his abs. And I realized while my nose had been burning this whole time, he has gangrene on his thigh, a pool of pus the size of the palm of my hand, and I can't believe this man can still even stand. And then I attempt to take a look through his eyes, and I realize that if I was in his situation, I'd also want to die. But right now, I'd like to prescribe a remedy. Death is a popular choice, but not the one for me. So I try to change the direction of the conversation. We begin to speak about random things like how many bricks are in that building, or what about the pigeons? What kind of luck have they been given? The little sweaty one looks like he's on crack. He only weighs like an ounce in one peck on a broken crack pipe, and he'd be rocked for life. And then we begin to start laughing. And he tells me that his role in society is that of an amateur comedian, but what I see is a bleeding friend. And then I remember that I've got to go perform my role. I've got to get to work, so I jerk myself up straight and I say my goodbyes while gazing into his eyes. Take it easy, brother. Much love. And I see that he's all lit up. I've given him more than just a few coins into his cup. I gave him the love from within, cultivating the love in him to allow our friendship to truly begin. But walking, something he said began to sink in. He asked me if I knew the difference between an amateur and a professional comedian, and with laughter feet in him, I said I didn't. He said the difference is that an amateur, nobody laughs at his jokes, so I continued to walk, pondering the thought he now provoked, cause I laughed, but nothing about what he said was funny. So now I just pray that soon he'll see days that are sunny. My job isn't so bad. It now seems a bit brighter than the days my new friend has had, not to mention the fact that I have a pad, and skin that isn't scabbed. No doubt, I'm blessed to have what I have. Center of the sun, under clouds of heaven. But poetry on command demands release of what I cannot cease from being inside of my being, seeming to be gleaming out of control, using pen ink as the vehicle. I let what's viewed as spiritual to come out natural, existing as I write. The unceased release, the come that I speak of is the constant connection of love's permanent infection, a healthy sickness, her perfect thickness. I miss this when I'm unable to lick this vision of sweetness. Her skin is never sugarless, and I must have been born hypoglycemic because I need it. She feeds it, pleases it, teases the unwanted out of it. My soul drips thick for her kiss. Question, what is it about me that routes me in a direction towards the illusion of perfection in personal connection? I get so passionate that I forget how to sit at a distance. The minute that I see love, I get convinced that that vision should be more than a mistress. She fills this desire higher than I could ever acquire on my own. She's the queen of my throne. She becomes the vision of what I need, one who will cure all greed for female companionship. She becomes the ship that dips deep into the depths of my soul and rolls with the punches, while lighter laughter during lunches keeps me after after her, she becomes all that I can see. And why not let that be? Loving energy fills me, so fuck it. It's time to evolve and become aquatic. My destiny revolves around swimming the illogic love sea. And I may be just a guppy, but the love still flows through me powerfully, questioning my destiny. Is that the girl who's meant for me? Solo thoughts, once inside out, are now outside in. They're once in control, but now they're rolled over, overwhelmed by love's unconventional, inspirational, but constantly respectful infection. It's a connection, eyes connected only 2 weeks prior, and desire set in. Inward thought brought a future sought by both. Our eyes now again meet and our hearts beat melodic harmony. They permanently lock, rock back and forth like a cradle, cradling the birth of our love and the limb of respect and understanding, demanding communication to remain standing. Our relationship tips the scale equal. We kiss in its sequel, maybe the remainder of our existence. Feeling no resistance, we persistently speak with our eyes, and my mind finds me to be hearing all communication clearly. We speak in tongues, with flesh, breath, and mind all bind us to each other. Smothered by the love of us, we constantly lust for the next minute spent together. Whether priceless time blows like wind, or is used to fuel our love by disregarding society's conventions, retention of our shared moments is what's truly priceless, so I could cease to fight this. The truth is, we haven't known each other long, but since we've met, we spent every possible moment together. So I asked her to verify, to clarify what she has already told me, using Channel Me, what I've seen in her eyes, what I've heard in her mind, and what I've felt by her sensual sexual expression, a progression which has been working together to teach me love's linkage lesson, embracing the birth of our beginning, winning the possible title of we. Today I finally asked her, today I finally asked her, do you love me? She said that she did, but I don't know if I believe her. I put my bid on the fact that I may have deceived her unintentionally, cause I forgot to mention to she that I get confused when not wanting to lose the feeling. Off my shell I be peeling, revealing my exact thoughts, but that doesn't mean it's going to be brought to every moment. It's just an exploration by this poet who gets passionate, the words tend to show it. Yes, the love is real, I love to feel that emotion, but I'm having trouble believing one particular notion, that she's the one for me. So I felt uncomfortable saying it back to she. Yes, we've had some amazing times, but I still find the need to confer with myself and her. The fact that I'm not ready to be hers. She doesn't even know me, and I really don't know her. It's only been 2 weeks, the whole thing's a big passionate blur.
One vibration, never to be a duplication, never to be a duplication. Innovation, one vibration, never to be a duplication, never to be a duplication.
You see, when I speak out freely, it's important to me to be able to express the divine energy constantly, because as I get down to the root of me, I see that I'm pure vibration. I have more than human relations with all that exists. I cannot resist from being connected. I shape shift, I get resurrected as one with the all, and in that place I can never fall. I feel the strength of a tall redwood as I should. I could even be resurrected as a flea, allowing myself to see the relevancy of size, and then I begin to reside in minds that fly, and I don't even have to try. It's not I who decides, I just surrender to the divine flow, and sometimes through cloud nine I even blow. I become air, I'm now the air that you breathe. I've entered your body, I see through every pore, I explore your reality, and now I stare at what you believe. But I see a little drum, so now it's time to play a few beats and have some fun. Remember, I'm pure vibration, and expression in your ears allows communication to be clear, to be true. I see through your eyes, but it's still not I who decides. I have no judgment. I'm one with creation, birth, innovation of thought brought out but not thought out or constructed in my mind, rather constructed by the divine, never to be duplication. I'm one with the vibration that you cannot hide from, because it exists in all that persists through time, through rhyme. It's in my tongue. My soul's been sprung loose, so now I choose to let go of my humanity, get on the divine flow and let her shape shift me into all realities at once. I'm even one with a third grade boy with a dunce cap. I sit in the corner with my hands in my lap, but I can't stop from letting my toes tap. The vibration's too strong. A song without words, not heard but felt. These are the cards that I've been dealt. I'm more than self. I am more than self. I am more than self. I am more than self.
Innovation, one creation. Never to be a duplication. Never to be a duplication. Innovation, one creation. Never to be a duplication. Never to be a duplication. One with vibration. Two with vibration.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that you have finally established communication.
I'm about to tell you a story. About 5 or 6 years ago in San Francisco, my friends and I dared to skateboard at Union Square. My friend Junior needs to make a phone call, so all two of us thrust to the corner of Powell and Market Street. Little did we know whom exactly it was we were about to meet, so Junior creeps up to the phone alone to make his call. The phone he found was surrounded, but that did not astound him, seeing as he swims through crowds on a daily basis. Only these foreign faces hold traces of confusion, hoping it's all an illusion. Junior walks up and asks if he can use the phone to make a vocal fusion with that of another, but his politeness was smothered by a cracked English response. You cool with me? Junior wanting only to see mutual respect and understanding, he replies, you cool with me? But the dude misunderstood and said no. So Junior said, well, how can I be cool with you if you're not cool with me? Instantly, the dude takes out a knife blade, thinks it's made to take Junior's life, but the dude's not right. The knife's destiny is misread. Junior, not wanting to see himself covered in blood red, takes his skateboard and throws it into the dude's chest and takes off running. And I'm just standing against the building, and what I see is a flock of 10 human bees swarming after the nectar that is known as Junior. 3 see me, they stop quickly, they put a knife up to my throat and they scream at me. You know him, you know him, you know him. Scared I said no, confused they take off in the direction of the flock. Luckily Junior drops onto the floor of a nearby store, and the BCs to see him that night. He was not found, but we're bound to skateboard at Union Square for the next couple of weeks, seeing as we live just a couple of blocks up the street. And we hear that those dudes continue to creep the area on peak for Junior, so we're told to beware of the bees because they don't intend to please. Eventually Junior was found, ironically the same phone booth where the original incident happened. 3 of them trap him, they hold him down, and one cuts him from the corner of his shoulder down across his chest. Junior's nearly put to permanent rest. He didn't have insurance, so he nearly died over a fucking phone call they didn't even get to make. And now he has a permanent scar that knife didn't create. It's thick and purple from the corner of his shoulder down to his waist. Junior's skin is permanently disgraced. And what I learned from that incident is that every conflict is rooted with a simple misunderstanding. But if we learn to take our emotional mask and embrace the task of finding that misunderstanding, then all conflicts will cease to exist. But sadly they continue to persist. Sometimes I still feel that knife up to my throat. I'll be speaking to someone who speaks the same language, but if they hear the tongue of a billy goat, they don't even try. So outwardly I'm forced to cry, praying that the harmony in our society doesn't die. So all I want to do is live where we can all express ourselves openly and honestly and communicate freely. But it's what I fear that makes me tear. It's my peers. Not only do they cease to try, but to each other they even lie. And it saddens me to think that their actions occur daily, causing misunderstandings that could eventually cause the harmony in our society to cease to be. So please, I'm asking all of you to try your hardest to see eye to eye. I'm asking you to please walk in each other's shoes, so the harmony in our society we never lose. Misunderstandings are the news. Please don't help create our glorious skin shades turn to various blues. Please walk in each other's shoes. Please walk in each other's shoes, so what happened to Junior doesn't continue to be in the daily news. Please look for the misunderstood communication clues and positive pleasure to yourself you'll permanently fuse. Please look for the misunderstood communication clues and positive pleasure to yourself you'll permanently fuse. Seeing eye to eye, so please try. Until the day you're done. Please try. See eye to
Wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer. And then you'll notice you've got their strict attention.
But the question is, what makes you so special that people should listen?
I'm not special. I'm not special.
I just got a little something to say. I just got a little something to say. Who am I to spread the grief? My relief comes in words and verse. Who am I to have to rehearse what you want to tell me to do? To always be crying. Now it's time to stand up and fight for our right to survive. Now who are you gonna tell? Who are you gonna tell to sit down when this is the time to stand? My fans, you better get up on your back legs and put your hands together for the man who's coming down. Coming down. It's time to look around you, reevaluate your past, looking what you did last, and now you got to turn your minds to the future, or else they might shoot you, keep you down, keep you down, keep you down.
You gotta turn your mind to every future moment. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the things in front of your face. Open your eyes so you can see God's grace every place that you go, because it's good for to show yourself how you can let yourself flow from the inside out through every single pore. Just let it come out till it explores more and more than it ever has before. Probably at a new door, knock knock, are you there? Let me in. I would like to begin to sit and meditate, because it's time to let ourselves create a one with the all. Now I happen to be connected with it right now, even though I went in some sort of area that I wasn't planning on going, but I went there anyways with my verbal maze in front of my face. It was a haze, but I wiped it out and now I see God's grace once again. So let myself stop so my friend can step in next, because I want to hear him tell me something that is rather complex. How about exactly what time it is?
2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm learning my past. 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I'm turning away from the past. Now I see a tunnel laid out in front of me. I see the path that I'm supposed to be on. I just got to turn my shoes in that direction, get a resurrection from my old life and turn my mind into the sun. Now I'm letting go of everything they told me was truth. I don't know, I question everything I see. Could it be that that's really reality? I don't even know what's real anymore. I don't know if that whore is a guy or a girl anymore. So
I understand, confusion sets in. Could it be that you're on Polk Street and transvestite hooker is what you see? I've seen her, or maybe I've seen him. Regardless, I just want to let myself begin to see the current moment in time. So that is what I'm going to do with this freestyle rhyme. Get it off of the past and off of the future, because the now, it will suit you perfectly.
I don't know if this is getting darker or I've just seen the light for too long. Deciphering time through this quicksand of puddled theory, through all of their mercy, of gods that rain down on us, climactic phenomenon. I hold out with such powers to get down spinal fluids, energies that raise up abundant. Let's do it. Can you pull out now? Can you make sure I hit the clouds? But sometimes as it'll reach, we need balance between the pendulums that swing over us in consistent modes, swinging us back into no control. But it's still the state of bliss when we got the engagement with consciousness that can rest against the fence of time. We are seeing our images cut in many fractal lines. All of them mean a piece of something to me, taking out from the structure that makes us who we be, brought down from cells that's been faster than any vision felt. And know that even though your will is expanded, it still stores the soul. You got to think twice, yeah, yo. Yeah, I'm gonna, oh, past frequencies on corner streets where I beg to their mercy, pleading bargains with the man at the corner store just to show him the target of his will. Can he soar past the images of profit dollars that shine faster than all the sirens past our minds, leading us to emergency states of our being stresses up so we're killing. And nowadays doesn't matter. It was written in space when Babylon was prophesied to be torn down by its own haze.
Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. I lean against the building in herbal green smoke, a toad to provoke mesmerizing mental notes. A drone walks by and it doesn't hide its views. Its disgusted, disapproving eyes pierce mine. Its views are from another time. This drone needs to be upgraded. It remains uneducated, not self-liberated, simply programmed with the judgment of another human. Its electronic static views cease to develop. Its hypocrisy unrealized, cause this disgusted, disapproving drone walks with a stick of its own smoke. Just as I do, the drone smoke is legal, but it provokes personal pollution causing death. My green smoke is often illegal, but it provokes personal evolution giving birth to inspiration. So drones, I'm asking you to please upgrade your judgment. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. What is this? All I want to do is help lift myself higher, bring a more passionate choir to my self-expression desire. But some think that when you smoke herb you sink into a state where you can't think. And to this I do not blink twice, cause I know that green herb is not like having a few drinks on ice. I do not get tipsy, it's more like having a cup of bliss tea. I remain with one pointed focus, using loving, compassionate eyes, so please quote this. It's a gift that saves, given by the divine in disguise, and should be praised and respected. But this you cannot understand unless you've protected the state of your judgment by giving a timely, compassionate cannabis contribution. So it bothers me that the decisions made in our governmental institutions are imprisoning minds and bodies and restricting the evolution of our society. Cause obviously if we were allowed to make our own decisions, there would be a lot less innocent men and women in our prisons. But sadly, we're all judged for our actions, not by experience and understanding, but for not succumbing to the demanding lifestyle our government has set. I hurt no one, my lifestyle is compassionate one, not a threat. So please, I'm asking you to please feel free to choose your own lifestyle, but please do not feel free to judge me. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. Experience is judgment's cocoon as judgment blooms into wisdom. My style is the best.
Testing.
It's all good.
It's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Think about my father. At first I ask myself, why bother? I'm not in the mood to test old waters, but I know not to ever oppress or second guess memory, and I suppose I shouldn't speak hypocritically, so I'll take my own advice and think twice about the man born a father to me. He was once the seed my mother needed, obviously, to feed the birth of me. He's half the roots of my family tree, but sadly, as a child, he didn't always please me. He was an alcoholic undeclared, so when I stared for the first time at those grade school film strips, I then began to trip out about my dad taking a sip daily. Not to mention that whenever in a car near or far, he still often needed that drink to the lip. An alcoholic, and I knew it, for there were times when he got rather loose with it. He'd sit, tension thick, waiting for anything unplanned, and bam, he'd explode with enough wind to erode a small child's nose into a freckle. He never really knew me, or did he choose to see my mental reality? He was just a dad to me, a father figure, a face behind the newspaper, lazy boy chaser, watching television news capers, eating potato chips with salt and vinegar. It's not that he was dumb or dumber, he's rather intelligent, an accountant, and I still remember summers mowing the lawn for me as I still slumber. Remember, he's a money manager, so in me he instilled a good work ethic, but as far as coordination is concerned, I hate to say it, his skills were pretty pathetic, and I was of a different breed, a soccer playing BMXer, then obsessed skateboarder, constantly focused on physical testers, pushing myself to spiritual borders, always to be looking to be one with the zone of mental clarity. That's where I feel most at home, the true reality, mind empty, silent soul, focused in the now, so it didn't seem that far off that I taught myself how to perform verbal gymnastics. I like mind tricks, but my dad didn't know what to make of it. No shit, I'm not surprised. As a child, you hardly knew me a bit, but now compassionate words I want to spit. I want to focus on the gift of having a family, not what it could be. Now my mother, she completely understands me. My father's better half, she's the reason the relationship still lasts. Cause problems of the past are just that, problems of the past. My dad has now been through Alcoholics Anonymous, so now he's on the task of understanding all of this.
Testing.
It's all good.
Testing.
Some time ago, I shared some poetry with my folks. Confused, unaware of its purpose, this time it was my dad who began to trip. My mom sees me as a preacher, a verbal teacher, a divine seeker. But to my dad, I look like a stranger, a lost soul in society's fishbowl. Jobless, just wanting to cultivate the gift. This to him seems somewhat useless, but embracing life is the most important thing to me. I can care less about the money. As long as my rent's paid, I feel saved, blessed. Not about the second guess. My actions, I receive self-realized satisfaction as payment, as time spent. Well, so now I must tell the reason for this track. Once my dad heard my poetry, he ceased to hold back. He wrote the first poem of his life, one that might finally create our communication. So he asked for a reply, but I wasn't ready. The subject was just too heavy for me to easily jot down a few words and flee. So the last time he visited, I revisited the words he wrote to me. I had him record his words of poetry.
Testing.
It's all good.
It's on?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I a stranger to you? Are you my son? Am I a stranger to you? Are you my father?
Basically, Dad, to answer your question, you're not a stranger to me. I know exactly how you think. You dwell on the brink of discomfort. You feel the need to control every situation, and that's the complication. Life is out of our control. Just relax and let it unfold. Enjoy every moment, whether you planned it or not. This moment is all you got. Don't sink into negative thought when what is brought to your table is not what you ordered. Don't get floored with anger. The waitress has to face this danger every day. Mistakes are made, so hey, eat it anyways. Send out peace, and the pleasure of the moment will not cease. Not to mention the flyers and brochures that you read, they're just a tease. A photo's not as good as the actual tree, so next time we're at a park, please put down the brochure and see why they created these to tease. I also understand that the media has also been feeding you. Don't worry, I'm not going to lose out if I don't choose the standard cloned 40-hour-a-week route. I've come to find out that the unseen road is what I'm about. I've learned how not to doubt and just surrender to the divine's route. I'm not a pretender or scared to be the backbender to obtain what's important, peace of mind. So please, I ask you to look inside and find the truth that binds us together. I am you, you are me, ingrained in my personality. Strangers we will never be. I know you, even though you may feel you may not know me. I love you, Dad. I feel blessed to be a fruit on your family tree. I thank you, and I give you this track as a reply to your poetry. I hope it makes sense. I
stranger to you? Are you my son? Am I a stranger to you? Are you my father?
To truthfully attack. Nothing fancy, it just feels good not to hold back, but I still feel that need to relax. Maybe I'm worried I might spill out a sack prematurely of bad memories unintentionally, while I attempt to surrender to the truth of me verbally. I let my voice bind to my mind primarily, and I shouldn't be scared of what it might find naturally. We're all imperfect, I shouldn't worry about this fact. The point is, this momentary persist is where I'm at. I'm smacked in the face with this truth. Constant search of realization of self. So luckily I perch in a nation of wealth titled humanity. I've got the same reflection that you see. Human beings are flooded with similarities. So I rap to map out my past calamities. And believe me, restriction through self-conscious verbal prediction. I never want to be part of my hip-hop addiction. I'm addicted to truth. It's a free seed and it feeds me. And if an explanation need be, organic hip-hop is the crop that mops up the proof and stores it, records it, preserves it, and serves it back to humanity. It's canned reality. That's one reason that I do this, so others can learn and experience the events of my life with me. But another reason I use this is for my own therapy. I suggest you try it, fly with it. The sky's not the limit. It's infinite, just let yourself spin it. Create yourself and say hello. Words are the gifted. Come straight from the divine. And every time I let myself rhyme, I realize how to untie the knots in my spine and let the energy shine out of my body until it has robbed me of my humanity completely. I'm now unblind, I'm free. I can see my essence perfectly. It's pure energy. A mere reflection is not all there is to me, but its glare has got me blinking, thinking, sinking back in the past human memories. influenced by many, like this cat Safari. Raw, he spits freestyle, stripped down raw, to the core truth of the now. He speaks about how he feels about what he sees in that moment. He's the epitome of an honest freestyle poet. Not to mention my other friend Rupert. He has a poem up being raped by his putrid father. And honestly right now, tell the details I don't want to bother. And then there's Gardner, describing his emotional connection to the death of his grandmother and the sexual abuse of his 8-year-old sister by a quote-unquote friend of his. And at the end of this, they both be in tears, along with over 200 other ears in the audience. And I was truly feeling this lack of self-consciousness, this openness. So then I started revealing this human being that I've been seeing in the mirror since birth. I began to search for the forgotten and find use for the rotten. And sometimes I now use my sour experience as a topping to balance out the sweet knowledge that be dropping out my mouth. It has opened me to my community, and I now find no reason why we all can't be a healthy family. Hip-hop culture's the therapy, and I suggest it to all. Just test it with a house call to yourself. But first, check what's on your mental shelf. Don't refill the negative emotion bottle, full throttle with mental wealth. Learn self-remedy. As I said, hip-hop culture's the therapy. It's the only mental medication that I'll ever need. I just hope I can influence you to plant your own seeds, so you can grow the crop that you need to be self-sustained within society. Hip-hop culture's the therapy, and honestly, moving through me, it has to be constantly. It cleans out the negativity, trust me. Spit, dance, spin, write, whatever, however you like. It brings liberty.
Hip-hop is the therapy. Hip-hop is the therapy. Hip-hop is the therapy. It will set you free. It will set you free.
Deal with this shit. I don't mean to be rude, you are my friend, but I just left the party and forget it. I'll just see you tomorrow. So, here's the situation. I walk home alone and there's a slight complication. Somehow, I was forced to bow. In the darkness, you see, there happened to be a spark that I missed. It turned out to be a fist, but it was really more like a torch forced into my eye socket. I guess they're after what I got in my pockets. Shit, I hadn't planned this. I hope they soon stop this. I don't know how much longer I can stand this. My blood, they'll soon have to mop this off the pavement, cause now I'm lying there in amazement as my eye begins to swell shut. I'm continually getting kicked in the gut. Surrounded by 5 or 10, their praying primal screams become chants, supporting the brutality of their friends, who are definitely my foes, and who knows if this painfully destructive show of angry power will end before my soul showers into eternity. Fuck, this is going to be the end of me. It can't be. I don't want to die in this fucking street corner, but nobody's helping me. And now they're starting to take off my shoes, and for the first time in my life, I truly think I'm going to lose it. I'm going to become another fucking statistic. I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Shit. So I push them off me and I start running. Heart thumping, adrenaline pumping, harder than I've ever ran before in my life, cause this time I'm running for my life. I look back and there's this dude chasing me. I'm inches from his grasp and he's screaming at me. Give up, I got you. 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 Give up. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You ain't got shit. And you may have my skateboard, my $5 and my keys, but that's it. You will not take my last breath. You will not take my last breath. You will not take my last breath, cause I need that for the rest of my life. So I continue running, heart thumping, adrenaline pumping, uphill, one eye open, chest heaving in pain, and I finally reach the hilltop, and there's a cop at the stoplight. I look back, and that dude, he retreats into the night. Relieved I still have my life. I continue to walk, but now I don't talk to the cop, you see, because in my past, I've received my fair share of police brutality. Ironically, from riding that skateboard that was just stolen from me. So I continue to walk with no one to talk to and nowhere to turn. I touch my eye, blood crusted shut, and it continues to burn. I test my chest by taking a deep breath and seeing if I have to moan when I release it. Man, I can't believe this shit. All that I wanted to do is walk home and take a peaceful trip. But I've got to accept that eyes of prey still seek the streets. But at least, into me, no permanent damage they did beat. And I was left with the shoes on my feet. But I suppose I could have avoided it all if I had just listened to those words of warning my street friend tried to speak. Next time I'll take the time to find out about the embedded direction I'm headed. I'll communicate and listen to the words of wisdom my street brothers accredited. They know more than me, obviously, cause as you can see, Church Street safety. I misread it.
Say it's true to me, you see I'd rather be real than hold back what I feel. I don't wanna fight with you anymore, and every time I cry out you say I'm just trying to close doors to constructive conversation. Dreamy neurotic seeking alleviation from this reality. Well, you're so critical, always mad at me. Why? Who's telling the lies? I don't know, can't tell her well, it doesn't even matter who's right and who's wrong. Our friendship will shatter if this fight is prolonged. So watch I'm doing it, I learn my lessons. Heated sessions messing with each other's emotions. Not on purpose, purely accidental, I swear but not coincidental. I glared at center into the fire of this friendship slipping. I've got a grip, bring it back to the surface. I know what the angels heard and they heard us. We rang the bells, we surfed the swells, past right and wrong. I was hoping you wouldn't hit the gong, saying my time's up, half a cup, enough. I wanna make amends, I wanna be your friend. Still, for real, I kneel down on the ground, listen to footsteps with my ear for the sound of you coming. I'm a forfeit now, I bow to you, my friend. It's not worth it in the end to lose you to both our egos combined. I find I shine more when we're together. Our destinies are forever, and I promise that we'll never ever fight again. But I still want to be a friend. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, somewhere along the way, I lost a friend. I cannot pretend that this is the end. Somewhere along the way, I lost a friend. I cannot pretend that this is the end.
Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. I have to go. The company in the room feels more like a crowd than company. I have to go. I've become nomadic, searching for the point of contentment. search alone, as we all do. Alone in thought, alone in perception, alone in life. We're contained within our human bodies. Our realities are conceptualized. They are equivalent to none. So I've become nomadic, searching for the unknown point of contentment. During my journey, a girl and I cross paths. We trade verbal candy. The sweetness of her knowledge tells me that she's been walking through the same maze of mental awareness and has turned to the same corners. We had just not yet seen each other. I now wonder if she'd been to the point and was returning, or if she was on her way there. I didn't ask. I've become nomadic, searching for the point of contentment, contained within this human body, but reality is only conceptualized. It's equivalent to none. So I've become nomadic. I search alone, and my search has only just begun. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. Decisions, I second-guess my actions, but why? For satisfaction, it's in disguise, it hides. So I try to decipher the proper decision, but my intention walks an equal scale, tipping back and forth, but the weight of my decision is not enough to tip it completely. I cannot decide what I need to do. What do I need to do? Why do I feel the need to do anything? I walk life string, a tightrope, and hope I might scope out the future, which I obviously can't see, limited by my humanity. So why do I try? Just trust. I should just follow my heart from the start of the questioning, but I feel pulled by both sides, so I cry out for help in silence. So I sit mouth closed and disclose my thoughts to myself, only to see the answer locked in rational thought. So I use my heart as the key and it fits perfectly. I now know that to all questions, my heart, the skeleton key it be. So I cease to second guess, and I now trust my decisions with ease, cause everything happens for a reason. So I have faith in all seasons, cause even the storms be pleasing me. Life blooms after a monsoon. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. So I pull out a pen and then the truth rings my mental door bell, just like I had thought. The divine has brought me well, a conceptual seed, and I tell you she's put a spell on that seed, cause now it grows, filling my entirety. It flows through me, it's verbalized honesty, and this didn't always happen so easily. It's been a long journey of self-discovery. I focus deep inside my body, and ironically, I was taught in meditation how to speak out comfortably. It's all about surrendering to the energy of honesty. Choose to never abuse or attempt to control the flow, or you'll lose, choke, and suffocate. But the truth is, silence still often creates a mental block, which now I know how to chop. But sometimes it still feels like a rock that I can't stop from rolling over my words, so I attempt to swerve them into a different direction. But I'm nowhere near perfection. I still hit complications, deviations I take, pit stops I make, giving the divine time to rake through all the nonsense in my mind and make sense out of my rhyme. So now most often, I just surrender to the divine and let her use my tongue to shine. That way, we can meet part way, both contributing to the words and topics that my lips tend to raise. For me it pays to listen to what she has to say, so I let her play with my verbal maze. It's really her that you hear, I just sit back in a daze amazed, and I hold the experience dear to my heart. She's made it clear, my part, my role starts and ends the same. A voice for compassionate love, her fame, regardless of the name. God is most often lodged in society's brain. Love's universal truth will always remain. Life's a continuous game, it's never the same. It doesn't matter, labels are irrelevant. Love is what makes life prevalent. Let compassion flow through you and you'll see that a connection with the divine energy allows life to unfold easily. Let compassion flow through you and you'll see that a connection with the divine energy allows life to unfold easily. Self-questions, a mental contestant, dealt directions, the divine predicament. The divine predicament. The divine predicament.
A young man takes a seat, quiet in a shadow of silence. The loud drumming of others only takes him deeper within his mind. Staring into the fire of birth and death, flicker little flame, but don't hold your breath.
What are you trying to tell me? I want to understand the reason for my intense attraction to this flame in the sand. Is it because it's an illustration of my human limitations? I don't know. I need clarification in this situation. At what point does the air cease to be air that I can breathe and become so hot that it'll kill me? This line is just too fine to see. The answer's beyond human comprehension. So I'm attracted to the ocean to release this mental tension.
In between the lows, he takes a moment stroll. He in solitude, unfulfilled and vacant. She, the great magnitude, naturally and naked. In awe of the moon, but in love with the ocean. The moment is soon that he will bathe in her potion. Where does the shore cease to be shore and become ocean floor? Once again, this infinite edge of existence is what he explores. So he whispers.
I love you. I bow to you. I now need you to see through my eyes. I'm so glad that we finally reside together, 'cause I'm now bound to you forever.
He tries to seduce her. He tries to seduce her. But he was seduced. As he made love, he thought this is the proof. With the essence of his soul, he surrenders to his limitations, seeking only truth. He screams with passion.
My existence is insignificant. I'm a grain of sand, but I'm so stoked to be that grain of sand, and I feel so blessed to be given the shell of a man. Thank you. I love you. I am you.
He tries to seduce her. He tries to seduce her. But he was seduced.
The waves of the ocean are now folding in on themselves, retracting in front of me, calling me closer. So now I'm walking towards her, still screaming at the top of my lungs about what I've come to believe. And as long as I remain at that point of truth about being a grain of sand, if it's so stoked to be the grain of sand, the ocean continues to fold in on itself and retract. I can't believe what is happening. It doesn't seem real. It's like the parting of the Red Sea I once thought was a fable. I now believe she's able to do anything she needs. Using me, the divine teaches me. And I walk towards her dry as a bone, as if I'm walking to the front door of my home. And I look back to the shore and I'll stand about 20 to 30 feet farther in than any other part of the shoreline. But I can't look back too long, 'cause the second I find my mind wandering off the divine path and back to my ego, the water comes towards me and shows her displeasure. So I must continue to spit. I must continue to spit. I must continue to get my mind clear so the divine can control the words, and I do. So the water continues to fold in on itself and retract. I can't believe this shit that says true bliss, but the focus is starting to pass. So I feel the need to run back to the fire and tell my friends why at the same time, and I'll cry and laugh.
Returning to the flow. He tries to validate what he knows.
Whoosh! And I'm soaked past my knees. She's upset by the lack of respect, and I can feel it. It's a clarification of the situation, which is actually good, because I'm having trouble believing this shit. Seeing the water come closer, I now know the connection I once had is now over. My friend's presence was like an energy bulldozer, and I was hoping for a four-leaf clover. So now I stand, and I stare into the ocean, and my friends ask me if I want to enter her skin to water, and I begin to wonder if we have any right at all to be inside of her. Regardless, he says it's good yogic practice, so I strip down and walk into the water, but I still feel like I'm raping her. Humans have no gills, and our oil spills and rightfully kill. Many lives are wasted, not to mention what we've tasted. We sweep the water clean of life, and now with that awareness in this night, the loving acceptance I once felt is now gone. I now see a powerful, upset, destructive force not to be reckoned with, so once again I listen to what she tells me. I surrender to her power and immediately get out of the water. I put my clothes back on and I thank her for the life she's given me. I apologize for indirectly contributing infectiously. I never meant to harm you, but then again I do buy gasoline. But I suppose it's okay, because when I do I can't hear them scream. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Should I never again drive my car, use electricity? Should I move completely out of the city? I don't think so. I'll stay, respect, and protect, because the destruction will not cease when I leave.
He tries to seduce her. He tries to seduce her. But he was seduced.
train of events is approaching its end, but my only fear is that we cease to reach our final destination. Being in the now, too often our mind takes a deviation and we forget about how to truly love life. Our desires are often knifed into our current circumstance, so we must desire to dance, sing, and be nimble. Life is really quite simple. I just appreciate the breath that I'm blessed to employ. This moment is continuous, every breath is infinite. The past is linked to the now and married to the future. Our next breath is our last, we must put our past to rest and love this breath that we're blessed to have. Don't forget, if we live to love, we'll love to live. So please give and receive, face and believe in this next stop. Let your guard drop and feel blessed just to be able to breathe. Just be thankful, I know I'm grateful, just to be able to just be. I want to thank you for taking this journey, because without your contribution, I wouldn't have any events to express. So please, welcome the next destination as I do, with respect. Pass through the open door, feel our collaboration with my connection to your breath. Welcome to the current moment. We're all forever blessed. I'd like to welcome Lathan's hands to the keys. The gentle caress of his fingertips. Beautiful sound. Sometimes I begin to fall deep into the silence of my mind, into a space where I can't hear anything or see anything. But it's not that I see some sort of darkness or blackness. It just is. When I think about that it makes me feel comfort. Because I know that is all. And that's one of the main reasons that I like to speak out off of my mind, off the top of the head, or with freestyle words, however you'd like to label it. Because in between words and in between thoughts, there is this pure silence, waiting for the next burst of energy, waiting for the words to come through me. I sit back in peace inside of me. once again I dwell in that silence.